Good afternoon. It is Friday, the 28th of January, and welcome to our Lunch and Learn session for TPEA today. The Texas Public Employees Association appreciates you joining us today. While we have some folks that are joining us right here at the noon lunch hour, we appreciate your time that you've taken out to spend time with us today. Just a couple of quick housekeeping details in here. All participants are in a listen only mode. So unlike your normal Zooms that you may be participating in, this is a Zoom webinar. So the best way to communicate during the webinar is to drop it into chat or put it into the Q&A session. Now I'm joined today by Deanna Bauckham, who is my co-host. She'll be periodically stopping, answering those questions along the way, stopping us if there's something that's, consistently questions that take place in there. And then what we've been doing lately is, because we have a lot of folks that want to get on, they don't really want to type out their questions, things like that. At the end of the conversation, we will stop the recording and we'll just take the opportunity, use your reaction tool there on the toolbar to hold up your hand. We'll unmute you and you can ask the question and we can answer that as we go through here. So my name is John Green with Association Member Benefits Advisors. We are joined today, as I mentioned, with my co-host, Deanna Bauckham, as well as Executive Director of TPEA, Ann Bishop. And
Hello.
Good
Hi.
morning. Good afternoon, Ann. How are you?
I'm well. You have my video suppressed, so I tried to. You may want to keep it suppressed, which is fine with me, but just letting you know.
I apologize for that.
Mine isn't coming through either, John.
Okay, it's probably a selection that I made when I set up the conference, and I apologize for that, Ray. So I tried to undo it. If Deanna knows how to undo that, I'll see if she can get to that done. But I haven't been able to do it in one that I messed up earlier this week, so I apologize for that. But we are joined by the TPEA crew, and really want to give them a chance to share with you here in a moment. So we'll go ahead and get started and rolling here. And then we'll jump right on in as we have over 100 people that have joined us. Just a quick reminder what TPEA does for you. They have been around for over 75 years, even before ERS was formed. Their goals are always to protect your pension plan, help increase those fundings for salaries, your benefits, maintain those things, and then help educate you on specific issues for state employees, retirees, and their families. And that's kind of a conversation that we're going to have today. And we're kind of starting to see, if you go out to your mailbox every day when I go out, I start to see just a little bit more of election mail out there. So Ray or Ann, you want to share with us to talk a little bit about what's going on in the primary situation and how the state employees can get involved?
Well, reminder that the 31st of January, it's on your slide there, is the deadline, the absolute deadline to register to vote if you haven't done so already. Additionally, February 14th, yes, Valentine's Day, is the beginning of early voting for the primary. And the February 25th is the last day that you can do early voting. And of course, the election itself, the primary election itself, is March 1st. And we're trying to give added attention to this primary because what we found is that in the way the state is divided up with the redistricting, reapportionment of districts, that what's the more important election is the primary. That's the one where you choose either in the Republican side or the Democrat side between the candidates. And this is your chance to have some input into that. You're electing your bosses if you are an employee. And if you're a retiree, you're electing those who oversee ultimately and fund your benefits. So this is very important election to state employees and retirees. So on that note, I guess, we do have if you're a member of TPEA, and we urge you to join that TPE, if you're not, we urge you to join now, especially because we have an advocacy section on our website that you can click on and gives you some tips and tools for communicating with your candidates for the particular offices, the particular state and Senate and House races. You can communicate your concerns and you find out, get your questions answered. They have candidate events. You can go to the website of your candidates and find out when their events are, and you can attend them and have a chance to, ask the candidate some questions. So, and make sure they know that, state employees and retirees are paying attention and will vote.
Absolutely, Ray. I cannot stress enough the value of that advocacy section. There are some things that I've noticed on the social media that's been posted out there, some great talking points, some great things that whenever you share with those candidates in the primaries, this is why it's important to us as state employees, retirees, those who are receiving a pension now or will be receiving a pension when they retire. There's some super talking points out there about that. And so to encourage you, if you're not a member, become a TPEA member. Very inexpensive, well worth it for you. If you are a member already, go access that advocacy section out there and help understand about your positions, about your roles, and what TPEA is doing for you on your behalf. So, Ann, you want to share anything before we jump into our conversation today?
I think between the two of you, you've covered it. And I think that our members and our state employees know how important they are to us. And we just want to make sure the legislative members and the candidates know how important state employees and retirees are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, pay attention to what's out there, make it known that you are a state employee and that you do vote. So make sure that you get in to vote or get in to register. If you hadn't registered already, knock that out by the end of this week. Just a quick introduction. My name is John Green. I work with Association Member Benefits Advisors, but prior to coming on to Association Membership Benefit Advisors, I was the youngest highway department worker for the state of Texas in the history of the state. I used to work for the highway department with my grandfather back when I was 6 years old. At least I thought I did. He let me ride in all the dump trucks and all the road graders and all that kind of stuff, which I don't think they'd ever let you do anymore. But I show these pictures only because I'm proud of my grandfather, my mom, and my aunt's history of being a state worker. And because of their state employment, my grandfather was able to put his 3 kids through college, 5 grandkids through college, and lived a good, comfortable life because of the benefits that TPEA fought for and for just having advocacy out there and a good pension system. So it's important to understand that we appreciate you as being a state employee and retiree because it did pave the way for a lot of us to live the way we do now. So appreciate the opportunity to join you today. There are a lot of benefits of having TPEA and AMBA together. It can kind of help fill those gaps that you don't have with your state benefits, whether you're a retiree or an active employee. They're portable. We oftentimes have state employees that move in and out of employment with the state. You can take the benefits with you. They're not tied to your employment. But the biggest reason, and one of the conversations we're going to have today, that people enjoy their TPEA membership is because they can extend their benefits to parents and adult children who are no longer eligible for their state benefits. And we're going to talk about that really tightly today when it comes to the dental and vision plans, and go show you what the TPEA offering is out there, talk about how members who have state benefits, how they can maximize both benefits. So we're going to cover a little bit about the ERS dental and vision offerings, answer a few questions about that. We're not going to dive deep into it because the ERS website is phenomenal, but we'll talk about some questions that have come in on that. Then we'll talk about the TPEA endorsed dental and vision benefits that you can receive through TPEA, what the differences are, and how to make the most of your options out there. So let's go ahead and jump right on in here. All state employees and retirees are eligible for dental through ERS. There's a couple of different type of plans out there that are available to you that have network dentist, primary care dentist. You've got dental HMOs, things like that. There's reduced coverage for out-of-network dentists. You have a specific enrollment period. And then the biggest thing is eligibility is limited to the employee and spouse and for children under the age of 26. So once your child ages out 26 or older, they're no longer eligible for these dental benefits. I would highly encourage you to go out to the ERS site, look at the comparison charts out there between the plans. There's some really good tools that are out there on the website. We've had people talk to us about, well, I didn't get a dental card. How do I do that? Well, you go out to the ERS website. It talks about why you don't receive a dental card and what you can do to receive that electronic card and those type of things as well. So there's great tools out there on ERS, a good explanation of your plans. Just know that there are networks, There are certain reduced coverages for out of network, specific enrollment periods, and then you've got that cap on whenever your children are eligible for those plans out there. But I highly encourage you to go check out the ERS because, again, as a state employee, you have very solid benefits that are available to you out there. This is the plan that TPEA offers in addition that's available to you, whether if you're retired, you didn't get in on the open enrollment period, or you've got adult children, parents that are not eligible for your plans through the state. It is through Emeritus, which is the largest dental insurance provider in the nation. So it gives you a broad network, gives you the freedom to choose whatever dentist you want to, whether they're in network or out of network. There's no enrollment time frame, meaning you can enroll whenever you want to, whenever you need. You're eligible the very first month after you enroll. So there's no long-term contracts involved. And as I mentioned, parents and adult children of yours are eligible to become, to participate in this dental plan. So for example, if you've got dental coverage through the state and you're a TPEA member and your child reaches age 26 and ages out of your benefits, for lack of a better term, and they have a job that doesn't offer dental benefits, they can get dental benefits through TPEA by becoming associate member, and you therefore extend your rights to these benefits out there. There's a 2-year rate lock, so it guarantees that you've got consistent premiums out there. You don't have to worry about them going up all the time. And there's a rewards program, which is something that's really different and unique. I want to explain that because many TPEA members tell us they can do some things with these dental benefits that allow them to get more coverage in the long run as they prepare for certain treatments and things like that. All right, so let's take a look at your plan. Let's open up here and take a look at what you've got. You've got in-network and out-of-network coverage. And what you have when you enroll the first year, you see those percentage coverages that you have there. After the first year in the network, or actually after the first year on the plan, you then move up to the higher percentages. So your type 1 coverages, your exams, your x-rays, routine cleanings and all that. The first year at 70% of the cost is covered. It's 100% after the first year. Type 2, which are your fillings, your panoramic x-rays, your denture repairs, things like that, 60% coverage, 80% after the first year. Type 3, your root canals and things of that nature, 25% first year, 50% after the first year. There is an orthodontics coverage out here, and you get $1,000 maximum lifetime coverage that you have in orthodontics for you out there. And then there is an annual maximum of $1,250 per calendar year. There is a $75 deductible on the plan. It is waived for all type 1 type of procedures. So you don't have to worry about anything as far as your type 1 cleanings, your x-rays and things of that nature. You see the group rates over here that you've got. These are group negotiated rates on your behalf. You receive those type of benefits. And depending upon the plans that you want to choose, take advantage of that, what you have with the state as well. So that's the basic overall coverage that you have with this. I want to show with you a little bit more in detail about those reward programs. The Emeritus Rewards Program, we want you to use your dental benefits. We know that good overall health starts with oral hygiene. And so if you use your dental benefits at least once a year, and it's less than $500, you can carry over benefits into the next year. You can take $250 over into the next year and save up that money to use on a bigger procedure if you see something coming. So let me show you how this works. So you have your routine cleaning or a cavity filled in 2022. Say it costs $94, regardless of whether you get that reimbursed or not, because it's type 1 and it's covered 100%, or whether you have to pay a little bit out of your pocket, deductible, whatever. As long as that procedure is under $500, then you will take $250 into 2023, giving you $1,500 next year that you can use for any type of dental procedure that you want. Maximum of $1,000 carried forward into your dental coverage out there. So, Deanna, have we had any questions that we want to answer or address before we move forward about the dental coverage or the rewards plan?
Yeah, we had a couple of questions. Can you include spouses? The answer is yes. You can do member plus one, and you can do entire family. And a second question was, is Emeritus, do they negotiate cost with these certain dentists? If you're in the in-network, yes, they are negotiated prices.
Great point. And like I mentioned, because Emeritus is the largest dental provider in the nation, it allows that negotiating pricing to be pretty significant to bring that cost under wraps that way. So thank you, Deanna. We'll stop here in just a couple more minutes because I see we have some more questions that keep popping in here. We'll make sure we get those addressed for you as well. This is probably one of the biggest benefits that TPA members tell us that they really like about this plan. Even if you have dental coverage through the state, it allows you to double dip, which means that if you've got state benefits, dental coverage, and then you take the TPEA coverage through AMBA and Emeritus, you can file that with the insurance coordinator to dental office and have double the coverage or additional coverage on top of what you've got through the state. There's neither one that's primary or secondary or anything like that. So it allows you to have more coverage. So if you've got to have major dental work or major repairs on dentures or something like that, or if you've got orthodontics coverage, it allows you to stack a little bit more on top of that as well. So it's just a nice way that you can benefit. And so members tell us that's why they will buy. Oftentimes they'll have the state coverage and they'll pick up the TPEA endorsed coverage as well to give them that extra amount of money towards some major dental work in the near future. Then you stack up your rewards on top of that. So you get a pretty good pool of money if you've got to have some major dental work out there. Okay. Any other questions, Deanna, before we jump further ahead in the vision conversation?
I'm not seeing anything yet.
Okay. All right, great.
Yeah, there was one question about how do you do that? How do you, when you sign up during enrollment? Anyway, there was a question along those lines.
Oh, I see it. I'm sorry. How do you combine one's dental coverage and Emeritus together? Is that option provided during our open enrollment?
Okay, from that perspective, we're talking two totally separate events, two totally separate situations. What you have through ERS, through the state employment and your open enrollment period, that's a totally separate plan, separate process. Once you enroll there, you roll right on. It's taken out of your paycheck. You have got your coverage and how you access your dentist or whichever plan you sign up for. The TPEA plan through Emeritus and AMBA is a separate plan, has absolutely nothing to do with billing, payroll deduct, coordination at all with the state plan. So what that means is when you go to your dentist and you file your plan, you can show them both your state coverage and your Emeritus coverage through TPEA and AMBA, and the insurance coordinator will file on both plans to make sure that you've got the most coverage that you can have out there. There's no need to tell one another that you've got the plans or anything like that at all. This is that double dip feature that you have. And it's kind of a nice feature that's out there, because a lot of times when you have maybe a spouse's plan and your plan, they don't coordinate coverage. They don't allow for that. The way that the Emeritus plan was specifically written will allow that to happen on your behalf. So plus the rewards program stacks all that coverage up as well. Okay. Anything else pop in, Deanna, that we want to address before we jump into division?
Someone asked, how is Humana involved in this? I did answer that these are two totally separate plans.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move forward and talk about vision. We'll again give a pause at the end to have more question and answers as we go through here as well. You have a separate vision opportunity, different plan as well. It's through VSP network. Again, a very large network across the board out there. And it gives you coverage whether you're way out in West Texas, deep East Texas, South Texas, or in a major metropolitan area. Most of these are your Costco's, your Sam's, your Walmart providers, as well as all the major vision networks, opticians and optometrists out there as well. And so you get your well vision coverage. You get one exam a month. You get your prescription eyeglasses with just a small copay. You've got a allowance towards frames. You've got allowance towards certain lenses, things like that. And then the discounts if you want to add the different UV coatings and the scratch resistant coatings, things like that. You get your contact lenses every 12 months if you do that in lieu of glasses. And then the really nice feature, you get a sizable savings on your LASIK surgery, We've had several members take advantage of the LASIK surgery, and this in and of itself has saved them hundreds, if not $1,000+ and again, been able to, more than pay for your TPEA membership across the board. Because it is a network, let's kind of do a quick comparison to what you've got there. The VSP plan, which is in blue, which is the TPEA plan that is offered to you. You've got an in-network and an out-of-network option. You see what is covered in full if you go to a VSP network provider. And again, most of your major chains, most of your doctors that are in Walmart, Sam's, Costco, things like that, those are covered in full for all of your exams, your lenses. You get the frame allowances out there. You've got no copay for your exams or contact lenses. You get a $25 copay for the other things out there as well. If you go to an out-of-network vision provider, you see that there's a reimbursement up to a certain amount or coverage up to a certain amount. Now, on the left-hand side is the state of Texas vision plan that you have available to you out there. You see that you've got some copays, a little bit larger allowance for frames, but the copays are in there as well. So again, you get a $200 allowance for contacts out there for that. So again, you can see the differences between the two coverages. We're not advocating that you take one, drop one. We're just telling you this is an option for you as members of TPEA. It's probably the dental and the vision are probably the most two popular benefits that TPEA members select through AMBA. But like I said, we think that the ERS plans are just fine as well. It's just a matter of what suits your needs, where you live, what's available to you, and what your coverage you need for your children, things like that. So you do have good out-of-network benefits. We talked about those as well. You see the costs over here on the right-hand side, pretty inexpensive cost out there, and those are valid through the end of next year. And so we usually get a 2-year rate lock period, 3-year rate lock period in there as well. Deanna, are there any questions that have popped up that we need to address before we move forward?
No, I think we're good. I've been answering them, and
Okay.
what I didn't answer them to the entire group, so I may have to address that issue in a little bit. I'll make sure I do in the future.
Okay. All right, great. We will roll on through here. We've talked about that. Here's an opportunity for you to get questions asked. Here's an opportunity for you if you want to know more about your dental and vision plan. You can do it 2 different ways. If you want to know more, take your smartphone, open up your camera feature on your smartphone, hover over that QR code on the bottom left-hand corner. A little form is going to pop up. You just simply hit that form. You can select dental vision. You can select long-term care. You can select cancer, whatever you want to talk about on there. Put your information in there. That QR code comes back to me, and I make sure I get it to Deanna, her team, that type of thing as well. If you're joining us on an iPad, on your phone, and you don't have access to that QR code, or you don't feel comfortable doing that, accessing it through your phone, my email address is down there, john.green@amba.info. All you have to do is shoot me an email and say, hey, send me information on the dental vision plan, or have me get in contact with somebody. I was on the webinar today. How can I find out about these type of things? We'll help take care of all that for you and get that information to you right away. Okay, we'll come back to open up for questions here in a moment. I always want to remind you, as members of the TPEA Association, the organization, you have a bunch of free discounts, significant percentages off, lots of items through the Passport program. It's getting ready to be travel season. We're going to have a special session on those travel discounts, but I want to point out a couple of discounts that are in the Austin area, because we have a lot of people that have joined us on these calls from the Austin area. In addition to all the healthy things that you can do, there's 2 new programs, or 1 new program, and then 2 or 3 new offerings that I see out there. That little robot with the M in the middle of it there, that's the logo of MealPal. That is a neat service that is in only about 20 cities across the country, and Austin is one of them. It's a meal subscription service unlike anything I've seen before. Most of you think meal subscription services, you think about boxes of food that come to you, meal prep programs that come to you. This is a meal subscription service that allows you to pick from dozens of restaurants in Austin. And you can buy a lunch meal plan, and you just walk in and you get everything on the lunch menu for a certain fixed price. It's really a cool little deal. Check it out, especially those of you in the Austin area. And then they've added some new vendors in Austin. The Tip Top Cleaners are in there. Flowers are in there. Valentine's Day is coming up. check out the Passport program. I will tell you, it's a great way to make your paycheck stretch a little further. And because we have so many people in Austin, I wanted to point those out. But even if you don't live in Austin, they're all across the state. This Passport program is great. Again, if you have questions about that, you can always shoot me an email and I can direct you to Passport. Make sure that your membership is squared away because it is free. And please, please, please tell your coworkers, fellow retirees about these TPEA webinars. This is a great way to introduce them to TPEA, help them understand the benefits of being a TPEA member. Ray and Ann keep us up to date on the latest things that can impact pay, working conditions, pensions, benefits, all that kind of stuff. And it really helps those numbers grow so that whenever the legislature gets back in session next spring, we'll be able to say we've got X number of thousand members to be able to take care of. And they want to know how you're going to vote in these certain ways, certain bills to push. Again, primary season is a way to elect the people who are going to make your paycheck, take care of you in that regard as well. So tell them about these webinars, help get them on there, help them understand what's out there for you. We've got a couple of webinars coming up in February. Deanna and I are going to break down what your medical plan provides if you have a heart attack or a stroke or a cancer diagnosis and what it doesn't cover. We're going to talk about that as well. Ray's going to give his testimony in regards to how it covered his cancer situation. On the 25th, we're going to talk about the emergency transportation issues in the state of Texas and some of the new laws that just got passed or went into effect, I should say, and how that impacts ground ambulances in the state of Texas and what could cost you a significant amount of money if you have to take a ride in the ambulance. And then we're going to share with you all those new spring break discounts because it's about time to prepare for that warmer weather, to get out there, theme parks, beaches, all that kind of stuff, ways to save money with the kids. We're going to come back on the 11th with one of our most popular conversations about the Texas Saver plan. We're going to bring in someone from Texas Saver, explain how all that works, how to coordinate it, when to take it, what you do after you retire, how you can maximize all these things, and when's the best time to maximize what you have available to you. We're going to do something a little different in that Texas Saver plan. Whenever we send out the registration for that, we're going to ask you to pre-submit your questions. We got about 85 questions last time during the webinar, and we weren't able to keep up with them all. So we want to see if we can consolidate them, get some answered before we start the webinar and have them ready to go for you. And then we'll finish up the first quarter talking about protecting your nest egg. If you have money in Texas Saver, or if you're a retiree and you're looking at the stock market right now, you've seen it be red all year long. We're going to talk about how to take care of that nest egg and what those top 5 threats are to your retirement nest egg or your savings nest egg that you've got out there. So make sure you pay attention. I know whenever Charlotte and Hannah send out the information to everyone, we get a huge enrollment. We appreciate that, but these are some of the ones that are coming up for you as well. So I'm going to pause the recording now, and we will open it up for any questions so that